All right, we are going to talk about expectations and making changes. All right, so I am going to be wrapping up this Tuesday my No Scale Habit Focus Challenge. It has gone really well since after that first week when I made a tweak to my wording on my calorie goal when I said below 2,000. That has been so much better. As a matter of fact, you know what's really interesting is I went through my food logs. Once I let the pressure off of that, there was days I actually even got down as low as 1,1400, which is not my norm. But I think that just goes to show you when you don't put pressure on yourself to hit a specific number and you are more compassionate and more gracious with yourself, and you do something like change the wording and say, I want my calories below 2,000, which, you know, for me is doable. You can sometimes surprise yourself. But when you get super restrictive and rigid with yourself, you tend to self-sabotage more. So the moral of the story is don't be afraid to give yourself grace, compassion, and sometimes make it to where you have a fighting shot at achieving your goals versus, nope, gonna hit this number, and then to your detriment, you keep self-sabotaging every day. Try the opposite approach. I'm having a hard time hitting 1,500 or 1,700 or whatever. What if I change the wording on this? What if I just make my goal to be below maintenance? What would that look like? Try it. What's the worst that's going to happen? If you're not doing the other anyway, it's not happening, and you're giving up, throwing your hands up in frustration. What would happen if you went with a definitely more compassionate and spacious goal? So the next thing I want to talk about is expectations. So in the No Scale Challenge, I have the 8 ground rules, which specifically say one of the ground rules is that weight loss is not a guarantee of focusing on habits for a month and not focusing on the scale. So this is an important ground rule because if you're not actually at a place where you are being super disciplined with knowing you're in a calorie deficit, weight loss may not happen. That's not the point of the No Scale Challenge. The No Scale Challenge is there to help you focus on your habits and not the scale. So what is my expectation come Tuesday? That I will have maintained my weight, maybe see some slight decrease depending on how many days of a deficit I was in for the month. But I think this is an important conversation to have for those of you that are on this challenge with me, is that you have to remember ground rule number 1. And then when you transition into weighing yourself, and I think this is really important, and this goes for everybody, if you've taken some time away from the scale and you get back to weighing, weigh in 3 consecutive days. Take the average of that as your new weight. So let's just say you've been on a trip, you've been gone for a couple months. Let's just say you chose not to get on the scale through the holidays. Not a great idea, by the way, for most people. But if that's the route you went, as soon as you step on the scale the next day, let's just say it was X. A lot of times people will either freak out or be extremely elated. Give it 3 days. So like in the No Scale Challenge individuals, we might want to weigh in Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Take the average of those 3 days and consider that your weight as you move forward in whatever you're going to choose to work on. Now, I am, after this No Scale Challenge, going to change again. I'm so excited about this. I have downloaded the ATE app, ATE, and basically it's a photo journaling. Through this No Scale Challenge, I've also been working this latter part, maybe the last 2.5 weeks, on really listening to my hunger and satiation signals. And what I am finding is a lot of times I am eating smaller portions. I am not necessarily finishing everything on my plate. I am really paying attention to just when am I hungry, when am I not. And what I'm going to be doing is instead of focusing on hitting a certain calorie target and journaling in MyFitnessPal, I am going to be journaling through the ATE app, which is just a photo journaling system. So what I've always shared with you is that it's not as important what method you use, but that you are self-accountable with what you're eating, because what happens when we don't journal in any aspect, whether it's paper, pencil, whether it's photo, whether it's calories, points. What I typically see happen is it's kind of like if I just gave you a bundle of money and I said, go do what you want with it, right? You might spend it on a lot of fun, frivolous things, but not on the essential things. But if you have to keep some kind of record, or you're looking at your food or whatever, you might make those purchases differently. And that's how you want to remember this. It's less about, oh my gosh, did I hit this one macro goal today? More about, do I have a general idea and am I being mindful with how I'm eating and what I'm eating? Mindfulness is a big one, right? What is a food journal for? To make you self-aware, to make you mindful, to help you keep better track of what it is you're trying to do. And I like the 8 app because it asks you one great question. You take a photo of your food and it says, is this on your path or not? And we had the Red Brick Challenge a couple weeks back, and that was the whole point, right? Is this on your path towards your goal or is it not? Red brick, blue brick. It's the same concept, but with pictures of food. So I'm going to be using that for a couple weeks, and I won't be tracking as much in MyFitnessPal because I've been doing it while doing the current challenge. I've been tracking my food. A lot of times I'm not even eating it all, but I'm ultimately going to switch to that app for a little bit. So that's where I'm going to be moving in the future for maybe another month or so. And you'll see I change all the time because it's not important. People get so bogged down in those details, they lose sight of the big picture. It's not important. MyFitnessPal, lose it. Weight Watchers, keto, whatever. It doesn't matter. Just be mindful of what you're eating. Be self-aware. Have some way of journaling, tracking that you are comfortable with that allows you to bring awareness to your food choices. You guys have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.